The text from my mother arrived 3 days before my sister's wedding. Sophia, we need to discuss seating arrangements. Given the guest list, we think it's best if you sit in the back during the ceremony and skip the formal photos. Claire's in-laws are very prominent. You understand? I stared at my phone, reading between the lines. My younger sister Claire was marrying into the Wellington family. Old money, political connections, the kind of people who measured worth in generations of influence. And I apparently didn't measure up. I was 27, working as a policy analyst at a think tank in Washington, D.C. My mother had never understood what that meant, had never asked for details beyond vague questions about whether I was still doing research. She knew I lived modestly in a small apartment, wore practical clothes, kept a low profile. She didn't know I'd spent the past year dating someone I'd met at a diplomatic reception. Someone who required Secret Service protection. Someone whose father happened to be the President of the United States. We'd kept it quiet deliberately. Chen wanted a relationship that wasn't defined by his father's position, and I'd wanted someone who valued me for who I was, not my proximity to power. Our relationship existed in private dinners at secure locations, quiet weekends at Camp David, carefully managed moments away from public scrutiny. My family had no idea. They'd stopped asking about my personal life years ago, dismissed my work as unimportant, decided I was the unsuccessful daughter best kept in the background. I typed back, "I'll be there. Whatever seating you think is best." My phone rang immediately. Daniel's name on the screen. "Hey," I answered. "What's up?" "Just got the strangest call from the Secret Service advance team. They're doing security clearance for a wedding in Connecticut this weekend." "Your sister's wedding. Sophia, were you planning to tell me you had a family event?" I closed my eyes. "I didn't think you'd want to come. My family's complicated." "Complicated how?" "They don't think I'm successful enough to be visible at my sister's wedding. They're seating me in the back and excluding me from photos because I'd embarrass them in front of the groom's prominent family." The silence on the other end was heavy. "Then, your family is hiding you at your own sister's wedding." "Essentially. And you weren't going to tell me because?" "Because this is my family drama, not yours. You don't need to deal with." "Sophia, I'm coming to the wedding. As your date. The Secret Service needs to coordinate with local security anyway if I'm going to be in the area that weekend." "Daniel, you don't have to." "I want to. Your sister's getting married. You should be in the photos. You should be celebrated as family. If they can't see your worth, maybe they need a reminder that worth isn't measured by how loudly you perform success." "This is going to cause a scene." "Good. See you Friday." He hung up before I could protest further. Friday afternoon, I drove to my parents' house in Connecticut where the wedding weekend festivities were already underway. The rehearsal dinner was that evening at an exclusive restaurant, followed by the ceremony and reception on Saturday at the Wellington family's estate. My mother met me at the door, her smile tight. "Sophia, good you're here. Listen, about tomorrow. We think it's best if you arrive after the ceremony starts. Sit in the back. We don't want any awkwardness with photos or the receiving line." "Mom, I'm her sister." "I know, honey, but Claire wants everything perfect. The Wellingtons are very particular about image. Your father and I will be in the family photos, of course, but Claire thought it might be better if you stayed in the background. You understand?" I understood perfectly. I was being erased from my sister's wedding because I didn't enhance the family image. "What about the rehearsal dinner tonight?" "Oh, that's family only. Immediate family and the wedding party." "You're not in the wedding party, so?" She trailed off, the implication clear. "I see. Don't be upset, Sophia. This is Claire's special day. We all need to do what's best for her." My phone buzzed. Text from Daniel. "Advance team is coordinating with local security for tomorrow. They're very confused about the seating arrangements showing you in the back row. Want to explain?" I typed back, "Just going along with what my family wants. Try not to make waves." His response was immediate. "Too late. I've already told the team I need to sit with you. Wherever you're sitting is now part of the secure perimeter. This should be interesting." That evening, I ate takeout alone in my childhood bedroom while my family attended the rehearsal dinner at the restaurant. My sister posted photos on social media. The Wellington family looking distinguished and wealthy, my parents beaming beside them, everyone raising glasses in elegant toasts. I wasn't in any of them. Saturday morning arrived with perfect weather. I dressed carefully in a modest dress appropriate for a wedding but nothing that would draw attention. As instructed, I planned to arrive after the ceremony started, slip into the back and remain invisible. Then my phone rang at 10 a.m. My mother, her voice high and panicked. "Sophia, what did you do? What are you talking about? There are Secret Service agents at the Wellington estate. They're doing security sweeps. They're asking about you. What on earth is going on?" "I didn't do anything, Mom. They said something about a protected individual attending the wedding." "Sophia, please tell me you didn't do something crazy like contact the White House or..." "I'm dating someone, Mom. Someone who requires security protection." "Dating? Who are you dating that requires Secret Service?" "Chen, the president's son. We've been together for a year." The silence was so complete I checked if the call had dropped. "You're dating the president's son," my mother finally said, her voice faint. "For a year. And you never mentioned this. You never asked about my personal life. You stopped being interested in what I was doing years ago." "Sophia, the Secret Service is here. At Claire's wedding. The Wellingtons are losing their minds. There are security checkpoints being set up. They're asking for guest lists. You need to get here now. I thought you wanted me to arrive late and sit in the back. That was before, just get here. Now." I took my time getting ready. Applied makeup carefully. Changed into a more formal dress, one I'd bought for a state dinner but never mentioned to my family. Drove slowly to the Wellington estate, processing the chaos I knew was unfolding. The estate was transformed into a security zone. Secret Service vehicles lined the drive. Agents with earpieces coordinated with local police. Guests who'd arrived early were being redirected through security checkpoints with metal detectors and bag searches. The casual elegance of a society wedding had been replaced by the intense protocols of a presidential security event. I showed my ID at the gate. The agent checked his list, spoke into his radio, then waved me through. "Ms. Harrison, you're cleared. Agent Martinez will escort you to the family holding area." Family holding area. That was new. Agent Martinez led me through the chaos to a private room where my parents, Claire, and the Wellington family were gathered in various states of shock and confusion. My sister was still in her wedding robe, her hair half done, mascara streaked from crying. "Sophia." My mother rushed toward me. "What is happening? Why is the Secret Service here? The Wellingtons are threatening to cancel the wedding." Claire's soon-to-be mother-in-law stepped forward, her expression cold. "Ms. Harrison, I don't know what kind of stunt you're trying to pull, but this is completely unacceptable. Security teams descending on our estate, turning our family wedding into some kind of circus." "Mrs. Wellington," a new voice interrupted. Daniel appeared in the doorway, flanked by two agents. He was dressed in a perfectly tailored suit, looking every inch the first son. "I apologize for the disruption. My team tends to be thorough when I attend events. But I assure you, I'm here simply as Sophia's boyfriend, supporting her at her sister's wedding." The room went completely silent. "Your boyfriend," my mother repeated faintly. "You're the president's son." Chen, ma'am. Pleased to finally meet Sophia's family." He crossed to me, took my hand, kissed my cheek with easy affection. "Sorry I'm early. The security sweep took longer than expected." Claire was staring at us, her mouth open. "You're dating the president's son? For how long?" "A year," I said calmly. "Give or take. We met at a diplomatic reception in D.C. "A year," my father echoed. "And you never told us. You never asked. You stopped being interested in my life years ago." Mrs. Wellington had recovered her composure. "Mr. Chen, we had no idea that you would be attending. This is quite unexpected." Daniel smiled calmly. "I know the security is a lot," he said. "But Sophia's family matters to her. I wouldn't miss this day. Though I'm confused about something." He showed his phone. "The seating chart says Sophia's in the back row. That must be wrong, right?" The air went still. Mom's face turned red. There was a mix-up. "About whether Sophia should sit with her own family?" Daniel asked softly but firmly. "She's family. He should be up front. Probably in photos too, right?" Claire started crying. "I didn't mean to," Mom said. "It was just supposed to look perfect." "And you thought leaving your sister out would make it perfect?" Daniel asked. Mrs. Wellington whispered. She doesn't fit the image. The image, Daniel repeated coldly. I see. He straightened. Anyway, my parents send their best wishes. My mother couldn't attend, but she wanted me to invite you all to a private reception at the White House. To celebrate the marriage. The crowd froze. The president's family inviting them. Mr. Wellington stammered. We're honored. Of course, Daniel continued, that includes Sophia's family. We can't celebrate without the bride's sister. It was clear he was putting me front and center. My parents couldn't hide me anymore. Mom looked faint. Dad stared blankly. Claire's makeup ran down her face. I think we should let Claire finish getting ready, I said softly. Daniel and I will wait. Actually, Daniel added, my team needs the seating chart confirmed. I'll be sitting with Sophia, of course. Front row. Mom nodded weakly. Yes. Family section. Front row. And photos, Daniel said lightly. My mom loves pictures from my friends' weddings. She'll want some of Sophia with her sister. There was no way out. 2 hours later, I sat in the front row beside Daniel. Secret Service stood nearby. Guests whispered. Claire looked stunning walking down the aisle. When she handed off her bouquet, she finally looked at me. I smiled and mouthed, "You're beautiful." She started crying again, this time with real emotion. At the reception, everything changed. People who used to ignore me now smiled, eager to meet Daniel, eager to talk about my DC job. My parents pretended pride. Mom praised me to guests. Dad stayed close, silent. Claire pulled me aside, eyes red. Sophia, I'm sorry. I was terrible. We all were. Mom said you'd ruin the photos because you weren't successful enough. While I was dating someone you wanted to impress? I asked. She nodded. I'm a bad sister. You just cared more about the picture than the relationship, I said gently. That can change if you want it to. I do, she whispered. Then she looked at Daniel. He's really that kind? Nicer, I said. He sees people clearly. He squeezed my hand. We should have seen you clearly too. Can we start over? I smiled. Yeah. Let's start over. We can try. Fully. If you mean it. I do. Daniel appeared beside us. Mind if I steal Sophia for a dance? On the dance floor he pulled me close. You okay? I think so. This was brutal. It was. But necessary. They needed to see you, really see you, and unfortunately it took presidential security and White House invitations to make that happen. I hate that it took your position to make them value me. They should have valued you all along. But at least now they know what they've been missing. He smiled. Besides, my mother is genuinely excited to host a wedding reception. She's already planning the menu. Your mother doesn't have to. She wants to. And Sophia? She wants to meet the woman I've been talking about for a year. The brilliant policy analyst who makes me laugh, who challenges my thinking, who sees me as Daniel, not as the president's son. You talk about me to your mother? Constantly. She's thrilled I found someone real. Someone who values substance over performance. He kissed my forehead. Come to Camp David next weekend? Family dinner. Time for you to meet my parents properly. That's terrifying. They'll love you. I promise. The wedding wound down around midnight. My parents approached as Daniel and I were preparing to leave, their expressions nervous and ashamed. Sophia, my mother started, we need to apologize. Truly apologize. We've been terrible. We've dismissed you, hidden you, treated you as less important than you are. And we're sorry. We never asked about your life, my father added. We assumed because you lived modestly and didn't brag that you weren't successful. We were completely wrong. You were wrong about a lot of things, I said. Not just about my dating life. About my career, my worth, my value as your daughter and Claire's sister. You decided I was an embarrassment because I didn't perform success the way you expected. We know, my mother said, tears in her eyes. And we want to do better. If you'll let us. I looked at them, really looked at them, seeing people who'd let social ambition override family love, who were now faced with the consequences of their choices. We can try. Fully. Starting with actually asking about my life and listening to the answers. Not because I'm dating Daniel, but because I'm your daughter and I matter regardless of who I'm with. We will, my father promised. We want to know you, Sophia. Really know you. Daniel and I left through the security perimeter, agents flanking us to the car. As we drove away, I looked back at the Wellington estate, at the wedding that had been designed to exclude me, that had become the moment my family finally saw me clearly. "Thank you," I said to Daniel. "For showing up. For making them see. You don't have to thank me for recognizing your worth. That's what people who love you should do automatically." He took my hand. Besides, I wanted to meet the family. Even if the introduction was more dramatic than planned. We drove into the night, leaving behind the chaos and the forced recognition. My family had learned their lesson the hard way, that worth wasn't measured by social performance, and that the daughter they'd hidden was more accomplished than they'd ever bothered to discover. Sometimes that was enough. And sometimes, it was just the beginning of actually building something real.